San Marino Grand Prix had an absence in Valentino Rossi, who'd broken his leg in a training accident. It was Maverick Viñales on pole position, but into turn one it was Marquez initially with the advantage, before Jorge Lorenzo led the way. A brilliant start from the Ducati rider, closely followed by the Spaniard of Marquez. Meanwhile, Danilo Petrucci was making ground in the wet conditions, getting the better of Maverick Viñales at turn number 2. He then got the better of Andrea Dovizioso, his fellow Ducati rider, struggling in the wet, holding on to third position but not having the pace of the front runners in the early stages, with Petrucci excelling in the conditions. There was disaster for the leader, Jorge Lorenzo, as he crashed out at turn 6 from a potential first race victory, leaving Danilo Petrucci to lead the way with 9 laps to go, followed by Marquez and Dovizioso. With just 2 laps left, Marquez had really reined in the gap, and it looked as if he would try and find a way past, with just 1 lap remaining in the race. He would either have to force Petrucci into a mistake or get good drive out of the final corner, which is exactly what the Repsol Honda rider got. In the slipstream, pulling alongside the Ducati, and then into the first corner he went later on the brakes by just a few metres and found his way through into the lead. A masterclass of strategy, timing the overtake to perfection, and the championship lead in turn would go the way of Marc Marquez after this event, as he stood on the top step of the podium once again. Petrucci was second, Dovizioso was third, a brilliant race for all involved, with Viñales fourth and wildcard Michele Pirro in 5th position, as the trophy was presented to Marc Marquez. And the championship then sits with riders on equal points, Marquez on 199 and Dovizioso on the same. Round 14 of the Motogp World Championship saw Viñales on pole position, but Lorenzo getting the better start and leading in towards turn 1 on his Ducati. However, later into the race, Marc Marquez made his way through against Valentino Rossi and then Lorenzo in the space of 1 corner. However, he bit off a bit more than he could chew, and into turn 12 he was passed by the 2 riders and then came under threat from Andrea Dovizioso, who got ahead just 1 corner later. 1 lap later and into the final corner, Marquez was really closing once again on the Ducati. He got up the inside at the final turn and into 3rd position, then setting eyes on Valentino Rossi just a couple of laps after. Again, that perfect passing opportunity at the final corner proving to be the place he got past. Then he set about getting ahead of leader Jorge Lorenzo with 8 laps remaining into turn 12. Hard on the brakes, Lorenzo went defensive, but Marquez pulled a late move to go up the inside, running slightly wide but blocking the line into turn 13. To get the overtake done to perfection. Meanwhile, Dani Pedrosa and Valentino Rossi battle for 3rd place, with Pedrosa getting the better of the Doctor. And onto the rostrum. Meanwhile, the leaders still squabbled, with Lorenzo and Marquez still going for position. Marquez eventually getting ahead and then pulling a lead ahead of the Ducati rider. Dani Pedrosa closed up on the back of Lorenzo as Viñales got ahead of Rossi, with Rossi's late race pace really struggling on board those tyres. Aleix Espargaro not too far behind in 6th place, Dovi in 7th position as Dani Pedrosa gets ahead of Jorge Lorenzo at turn number 12, but on the last lap of the race it was Marquez who had a comfortable advantage over his teammate, and it looked as if they would bring a Repsol Honda 1-2 finish home. Into the final corner we go, with Marc Marquez leading the championship by 0 points going into this weekend. However, coming out of it, he would have an advantage over Andrea Dovizioso, who was down in 7th position. Over the checkered flag we go, with Marc Marquez taking the victory, Dani Pedrosa in 2nd and Jorge Lorenzo on the podium in 3rd position. The celebrations once again took place in Parc Ferme. The final results see Marquez leading the way from Pedrosa and Lorenzo, Viñales 4th, Rossi 5th, Aleix Espargaro a brilliant 6th, and Dovi in just 7th position.